beefing these rap fans like crack fiends until we re-up and put more infamous upon the rap scene. Mix the coke rhymes with pieces like baking soda.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to yet another college football video. We're recapping week 4. Amazing weekend of college football. I wanted to talk about 20 games, but so many fuck ups and errors and Wi-Fi issues prevented me from getting enough videos out in time. So we're gonna have to do kind of the top ones here, which I still think I'm gonna talk about more, but for now, let's get right into it. Starting off with FSU versus Clemson. I was watching this game live. It was, well, actually, I'm lying. I just lied to you. I was not watching it live, but I waited and watched like a 30-minute condensed game, and it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. The atmosphere was amazing, and I kind of underestimated just how tough it was to win at Clemson. Doesn't matter how bad they looked against Duke, they gave FSU 110%. That might be the best game we see Clemson play all year. It was that good. FSU did end up winning in overtime, 31-24. And let me put this in front of y'all for a second. They just won at Clemson with no run game. Think about that for a second. I don't know when the last time, like, I'm talking like less than 30 yards, and they won. I don't know when the last time that happened was. Maybe it's never happened. It probably has happened once or twice before, but man, they did not make it easier on themselves. FSU did. Trey Benson, even though they were not able to run the ball, he still got himself involved in the game. 75 yards. I posed this question after week 1, where Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, the best duo in the country, they made a lot of big plays today. Oh, sorry, Saturday. 10 catches, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Travis looked good, not great. The Heisman hype, I get it. He's been a part of 2 massive wins already for FSU. They're 4-0. They're in the top of the playoff race, but individually, I think it's more of FSU as a team rather than just Jordan Travis carrying them. And, he's not played bad. Let me clarify. He's been very good, but it's not like he's just been outstanding. It's not like he's been the reason they're, beating these teams. FSU needed a lot of help to win this game from the defense. Clemson making their own mistakes. They could have easily lost this game. People probably would have been pointing fingers at Jordan Travis and saying he wasn't playing his best football. So I'm not ready to crown this guy as anything yet. I got to see a lot more from him. FSU's D line came to play. Kalen DeLoach with the game-winning play, if you ask me. It was in the middle of the third quarter. Clemson had a chance to go up by 2 possessions. FSU's offense was doing nothing, and Kalen DeLoach strip sack, picks the ball up, and takes it all the way to the house, and they ended up winning by 7 points. I think that was the play that kind of did it for them. And FSU certainly, when I make my new top 25, will certainly be in my top 3 after this massive game. Looking at Clemson, there's not going to be a whole lot of negativity here because Clemson showed me a lot. I wrote Clemson off after the Duke game. I didn't think much of them offensively in the offseason. They showed me that they were a sloppy, unprepared team against Duke, so I wrote them off. I had FSU by double digits. I didn't think this was going to be close, and Clemson gave it their best shot. Cade Klubnik impressed me. Missing his number 1 receiver in Antonio Williams, so he was playing with all. Keep in mind, this is one of the worst receiving cores in Clemson history, and they were still missing their top guy. So Cade Klubnik did not have a lot to work with, and he gave it his best. 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Obviously, had the strip sack, but he got rocked. Will Shipley and Phil Maffa both came to play. Over 206 combined total yards and 2 touchdowns. They were the best players offensively. They looked good. They looked very good against a very good FSU defense. I mean, like I said, no Antonio Williams. It was tough. Like, it wasn't easy at all, but they were making it happen. Big third downs, big fourth downs. I mean, they got stopped at the end. I mean, I don't know if you have heard the story about what went on with Clemson's kicker. They got a guy who had like 1 year of eligibility left. He wasn't even on the football team. They brought him on just to play kicker, and he ended up missing what would have been the game-winning field goal. So Clemson had actually had opportunities to really win this game. You probably should have. Their defense looked amazing, but we already knew that. They earned my respect. I even considered ranking them after this loss because the way they played, I don't know how many teams in the country could have went in there and won that game that day. You can probably count them on one hand. So Clemson, good job on them. Taking a look at the stats here, though, if we want to find out one or two more things. Uh, I mean, not really much to say. I mean, I feel like I covered it all. If you're taking a look at the team stats, show something different here. I didn't feel like either team was heavily penalized, but I mean, this down. Look at the first down comparison. FSU 16, Clemson 25. But look at this. The biggest stat that matters. No turnovers for FSU and one for Clemson. This is what I said preseason. The reason I had FSU higher than most people, the reason I had FSU beating LSU and beating Clemson was that this is one of the most balanced teams in the country. They have an explosive offense and a dynamic physical defense. They really get it done. If one side of the ball is slacking, the other makes a play. That's how they won this game, honestly. So, I mean, Clemson, 9 minutes more possession. Clemson fought extremely hard, but Florida State came out with the W. Moving on. UCLA at Utah. This is a game I was going to watch live. Thankfully, I didn't because it was 14 offensive points scored in total. Man, this was a tough one for Utah. I don't know what the hell has been going on. I thought it was 50-50 week 1 on whether or not Cam Rising was going to play, and now we're a month in, and I still don't know. I was convinced by people that know a lot more than me that he was going to play this game, and he didn't. So I have no clue. I'm just going to move forward with the assumption that Cam Rising's just not going to play at all this year. So that's how I'm evaluating Utah from now on. With that being said, they don't need Cam Rising to beat ranked teams. I did not have UCLA ranked. I was a little lower on UCLA than other, AP poll, obviously. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think they're bad. I just expected them to lose this game, but they fought extremely hard. They held Utah's offense to 7 points at home. At home. Obviously, this is not the Utah offense that we all think of. Still no Brant Keithy, no Rising, obviously, but I mean, Utah only had 219 yards of offense. They could not throw the ball whatsoever. They had to lean on their run game as they typically do. Jonah Ellis, in the defense as a whole, Jonah Ellis had 3.5 sacks. The rest of the team also had 3.5, so 7 sacks for the Utah defense. They had a pick six defensively. Obviously, the game-winning play. I mean, when you have 7 points offensively for each team and a team gets a pick six, that's game time. Utah here, I was kind of being reserved with my rankings of Utah all season just based off, I don't know when they're going to have Rising. I don't know when he's going to play, but I mean, with or without Rising, I don't know how many teams in the country are winning at Utah. They have too good of a defense. That home crowd is so impactful. They have a great running game. Man. And they held UCLA. UCLA, who is without a doubt one of the best run games in the country, to 9 yards. Absolute dominant performance from Utah here. Taking a look at this from UCLA's side, you know, they've lost so much to the NFL. They lost their quarterback, lost their running back, lost their best wide receiver. You lost your starting tight end the year before. So they're rebuilding at UCLA, but they got dominated physically. Dante Moore, look, as a true freshman, I don't know how many true freshmen could have played better against that Utah defense. I mean, 7 sacks is ridiculous. Like I already mentioned, 9 rushing yards. You're not beating anybody, let alone a top 10 team. The defense, they played amazing. Defense was incredible. 4 sacks, 7 points allowed at home. At home, you got to win that game if you see it. They're going to be kicking themselves. This might be the best defensive performance we see from UCLA all year. They just wasted it. But my opinion does not change much of UCLA. I mean, that's an incredibly difficult place to win. I still think they could beat really anybody in the Pac-12, honestly. I mean, if UCLA is playing at 100%, they could beat anybody in the Pac-12. And I mean, before this game, I had them ranked in between like 26 and 30. And after this game, I probably have them ranked between 26 and 30. So they are who I thought they were in a good way. Taking a look at this box score here, Dante Moore, I mean, just putting a lot on his plate with really no run game whatsoever. Obviously, he got sacked so much that's really impacting the rushing yards, but still. Taking a look at Utah, 117 passing yards. Good thing about Utah's offense is that they don't really turn it over because they can't move it at all. So I mean, they give their defense opportunities to win them games, and that's what they did here. Look at Jonah Ellis, man, 3.5 sacks, 5 TFLs. Good lord. Taking a look at the team stats, 24 first downs combined. Oh my God. UCLA went 4 for 21 on third and fourth down. Look, they doubled them up on passing yards. Rushing, obviously. Oh my God. 102-9. Man, oh man. Oh man, that hurts to look at. But yeah, 2 turnovers for UCLA. Killers. Absolute killers. Utah hangs on by a thread, and you gotta hope Rising comes back as soon as possible. Moving on, though, Colorado versus Oregon. Look, I have a lot to say about this game. Starting off with the fact I was damn near on the nose. If you look back at some of the predictions, I didn't like predict the score or anything like that, but I think I said verbatim, Oregon should have 6 to 7 sacks this game and around 250 rushing yards. Well, they had 7 sacks. They had 240 rushing yards, and I did have Oregon winning by double digits because, I mean, look, guys, at the end of the day, Oregon is the SEC team in the Pac-12 as far as physicality and play style here, and Colorado can't handle that. They just can't handle that. They're not built like that on either line of scrimmage. They're not built to stop a good run game or protect their quarterback from good pass rushers, and that's what Oregon had. Oregon actually did look better than I thought. I didn't think their defense was going to be that dominant against Colorado. I thought Colorado for sure would score at least 20. But yeah, I mean, Oregon just shut them down. Absolutely. I think Oregon scored touchdowns on like 6 of their first 7 possessions. So, I mean, they treated Colorado like the 1-11 Colorado. That's how bad it looked out there. Bo Nix was amazing, obviously. I mean, he was great. The run game it was just killing Colorado. Every time Oregon ran the ball, they got exactly what they wanted. Troy Franklin putting the country on notice, I hope. He's been amazing so far, and that just continued against Colorado. Um 7 sacks, like I said, 40 rushing yards allowed. Colorado actually was able to run the ball pretty effectively. And Oregon, after this game, certainly they have to be top 8 in my books because I mean it's just how do you look at this game and say, oh yeah, they're not going to beat some of these other teams in the Pac-12? They dominated, absolutely dominated Colorado on all aspects of the game. Take a look at Colorado though; they're not ready. But this is the thing. This is what I don't like. So many people changed their expectations for Colorado after the TCU win. And they shouldn't have, because I think we can all agree that TCU should not have been ranked in the top 20 to start the season. That's not TCU's fault. That's not Colorado's fault. That's our fault collectively for ignoring how much they lost in one off season. With that being said, it's still an impressive win for Colorado. The Nebraska win was impressive. Colorado State, way to fight back in that game. Colorado's season should not be judged at all on whether or not they can beat Oregon or USC or any of those top teams because they were 1-11 last season. I don't care how good Deion Sanders is. This is not a movie. Even though it seems like it a lot at times at Colorado, you're not going to turn a 1-11 team into a national contender in 1 year. With that being said, they actually did a couple things this game where, I mean, you know, I don't have anything positive on. We'll get to it actually. Let's stick in the negatives for a second. They got bullied this game physically, mentally. Gave up 522 total yards. Shadur Sanders got beat up. They have 12 penalties. Not a very penalized team, I might say, for 106 yards. obviously they need more talent. And the transfer portal for offensive and defensive line, it's kind of like putting a band-aid on it. But you need guys who are going to grow and develop in that program for years on the offensive and defensive line. Because in the transfer portal, you're just getting everybody else's leftovers. You need to really build up with your own, players, that offensive and defensive line. One thing I really can't stand is the people saying that Travis Hunter, this game would have been different if they had Travis Hunter. It would, guys. If Travis Hunter would have played the game of his life, okay, let's say he would have had 8 catches for 130 yards and a touchdown offensively, which would have been the best game he's ever had in D1 as a receiver. And let's say he had a pick six. Let's say he had a pick six and an offensive touchdown. Colorado still loses by 20 plus. I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference. Because Shadur wouldn't have had time to throw him the ball, and Travis wouldn't have been able to stop the run game any better. So, if you think Travis Hunter makes this game any different whatsoever, you're delusional. And Colorado, especially after this game coming up at USC, or sorry, hosting USC, they probably are not going to be able to creep back into the top 25. It's just they had an amazing, amazing 3 week, you can even say 4 week run. But as far as, actually pushing, for a top, ranking, those dreams are dead, kind of, for Colorado. Taking a look at the box score, it's not going to be pretty. Parental discretion is advised. Man, 23 completions, only 159 yards for Shadur. They did get Alton McCaskill back this game. I mean, he didn't do much, but he was there. Colorado still can't run the ball, guys. It's bad. They still can't run the ball. Xavier Weaver had a good little game. He's one of the better receivers in the country. Oregon, man, they dogged him. This is the interesting thing, though. Look at Colorado defensively. Colorado had 2 sacks. They had 2 sacks. Oregon's defense Oregon's offensive line last year gave up like 5 sacks all year. So Colorado getting 2 sacks is actually pretty impressive, I might say. If I had to pick one thing from this game, I would say, oh yeah, that's pretty impressive in Colorado's defense. Outside of that, nothing. I mean, I guess they had a pick, but yeah. All bad this game. No need to look at the team stats. We know what happened. Moving on. I got a lot to say. I watched every snap of this game, and I have no fucking clue how Ohio State won. I have no clue how Ohio State won this game. But before I get to all the ways Notre Dame choked their chance at the college football playoff, let's talk about the winner of this game, Ohio State. They won in Notre Dame 17-14. Kyle McCord, I've seen him get some hate for this game, which I don't understand. Kyle McCord, this was his start. Fourth start. And he outplayed Notre Dame's quarterback, who's played 8 years of college football and had better weapons offensively. Yes, I said better weapons offensively because Kyle McCord did not have more for a big part of this game. Kyle McCord outplayed one of the leading Heisman contenders in Sam Hartman on the road. So he did more than enough to win this game. Travion Henderson had a 60-yard run for a touchdown. Amazing play by him. However, Ohio State outside of that was not really able to run the ball effectively at all. They did not put many drives together. They really only put 2 good drives together. Marv, he got hurt. Benjamin Morrison and Marvin Harrison was an amazing matchup, but Marv got hurt early. Maybe not early. It was like in the second half, I think. He hurt his ankle, but he's a trooper. He got back out there. Emeka, he had a very good game. He dropped a touchdown, I believe, but I mean, he made the biggest play of the night, I think. On the 3rd and 19 on the final drive, he caught it over the middle to give Ohio State 1st and goal, and game was over right there. Ohio State defensively played out of their mind. Crucial 3rd and 4th down stops, not allowing Notre Dame to get any big plays off, making them work for everything. And the final drive for Ohio State, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was they got a sack. They had penalties. It was the 3rd and 19. I don't know how I don't know how Ohio State won this game. But after this game, this was probably top 2 or 3 most impressive wins of the season, and Ohio State is top 3 team in the country. They showed me that they can win through so much adversity in this game. So a massive win for Ohio State. Looking at Notre Dame, I was so frustrated. I don't like Notre Dame. I'm not a fan. I want them to win the game, but man, it was frustrating watching this game. 4 major opportunities to win this game. They had a 4th down conversion in the first half that they went for, which I liked. I like the fact that they went for it. I thought Sam Hartman got it. I even skipped past commercials because I just assumed he got it. He didn't get it. I guess he was like an inch or two short. So they missed that opportunity. They missed a field goal. They missed a field goal, and yeah, you lose by 3 points and you miss a field goal. That stings afterwards. They dropped an interception on the final drive. Kyle McCord hit a Notre Dame defender, I think it was a safety, hit him in all 10 fingers. All 10 fingers, he couldn't come down, with the ball. They don't convert on that turnover. And then they give the 3rd and 19 is going to haunt Notre Dame all season, man. 3rd and 19. Game on the line. Emeka Egbuka wide open over the middle of the field. Man, that was crushing. Held scoreless. Scoreless in the first half was Notre Dame at home. Sam Hartman let me down this game, Maybe it wasn't all on him. It was situationally. They drove down the field so many times, but just couldn't capitalize on it. Run game was very effective. Audric Estime, they were rotating so many running backs in there. It was like Devin Ford, I think. They looked very good. Offense, well, as far as running the football. Defense, you couldn't force a turnover, and you had the opportunities to. I mean, God, it's so difficult to even talk about this game from Notre Dame's perspective. It was just awful. They still do have a chance at the playoff because they still have an opportunity for 2 big wins at Clemson and then playing USC. If they could win, if they won out, it would be very hard, extremely hard to keep Notre Dame out of the playoffs somehow. But this game, this game would have put him in my top 3. It would have been so beautiful. But now, oh man, I just got to talk about him like this, man. Biggest blown chance of the season by any team so far, without a doubt. Taking a look at the stats. I don't want to. Sam, 175 yards, guys. 175 yards. Yeah, you just can't argue that Kyle McCord outplayed Sam Hartman in his 4th game. Yeah, Ohio State. Take away that 61-yard touchdown from Travion. I mean, 65 rushing yards on 26 carries. Notre Dame defensively shut down Ohio State's run game. It was beautiful. Yeah, look at Notre Dame. Yeah, they ran the ball incredibly well. Incredibly well. Mitchell Evans, the tight end, made a lot of crazy catches for Notre Dame. A lot of them. Yeah, man. Neither team really got a whole lot of pressure, just 1 sack combined, but good defensive game here. Even though it was low scoring, I was on the edge of my seat. But it was Ohio State taking advantage of Notre Dame's mistakes. Came down to the wire, man. Can't believe Notre Dame lost that game. Moving on, though, to another big missed opportunity here. Ole Miss losing to Alabama on the road. I'm glad we have to. I hate that we had to see Tyler Buckner and Ty Simpson actually play to know that Jalen Milroe was the best. Just look, trust your eyes, guys. Trust your eyes. We all knew, well, the educated amongst us all knew that Jalen Milroe was the best quarterback on that team, even before they even brought in Tyler Buckner. I don't know why the hell Tyler Buckner ever saw the field for Alabama in 2023, but that's going to be a small little blip in the history of Alabama. Jalen Milroe is the guy. He is easily the guy. best QB on the team, 253 yards, touchdown. You know he's going to turn it over. That's just in his DNA. He had an interception. Jace McClellan I mean, I thought he was going to be the guy before the season. Roy Dale Williams has also, had, his game or two. But Jace McClellan this game, almost 120 total yards on touchdown. We're 4 games into the season. I could not tell you who the number 1 receiver is. Is it Jermaine Burton? Is it JoJo Earl? Is it one of these other guys? Where the hell is Ja'Cory Brooks? I have no fucking clue on any of those questions. Offensive line still not good. 4 sacks allowed. 6 penalties as a team for 60 yards. You could say that's solid. I don't know. Defensively, this is the strength of this Alabama football team is defensively. Last game, they absolutely suffocated USF. In this game, they treated a very good Ole Miss offense like they were just regular. It was very impressive. Defensively for Alabama, they can beat any SEC West team at home. They might be able to beat any SEC team in the entire conference outside of Georgia at home, because defensively, it's going to be hard for any team outside of Texas, I guess, to put up points on this Bama defense. Dallas Turner is back. I don't know where he went for a season and a half, but he's back now. Yeah, Alabama is going to jump. This was an impressive win. I had them losing, and they proved me wrong. Still is going to be a 9-win season. Ole Miss, man. This was it. This was their chance, man, to beat Bama at home for the first time since 2015. They couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. Jackson Dart struggled. 20 for 35, 250 yards. Another thing to mention, a lot of people quietly started referring to Jackson Dart as the best quarterback in the SEC, and guess who outplayed him? Jalen Milroe. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Jalen Milroe is great, but watch him outplay a lot of good quarterbacks that they faced this season. I'm just saying. Quinshot Judkins is not the same. I did find out that he is dealing with an injury. He's not the same guy, man. I don't know what it is. 14 touches, 66 yards. I respect him for going out there and trying to help his team win. However, if you're going to be an absolute shell of your former self, you gotta get right. You gotta get healthy. They need you for the long run. They can fill in those 66 yards with somebody else. They need a healthy Quinshon Judkins for the other big games they have. Defensively, they were very good. Yet again, holding Alabama to 24 points at home is no easy feat. Ole Miss defense, they really came to play today. 4 sacks, like I mentioned, take away. They did their job and then some. 8 penalties for 69 yards. You can't lose the penalty battle to Alabama on the road. That's just one of the things that's going to kill you. It's going to come back to bite you. And this was such a close game. Alabama didn't really pull away until like the late third, fourth quarter. So Ole Miss had their chance, man. Still a top 20 team. They could beat a lot of teams. Ole Miss would be, without a doubt, the favorite in the Big Ten West. They'd probably be a 11-win team in the Big Ten West. It's just so tough for them to play that SEC West schedule. But, no excuses. They got to make it work. Taking a look at the stats here for Ole Miss and Alabama, just look at Jackson Dart, man. Compared to Jalen Milroe. A cleaner game, I would say. Ole Miss run game, man. 56 yards. 56 yards, one of the best run games in the country. Zachariah Franklin played, though. That was a shocker to me. I don't know where the hell he's been, but there he was with a catch for 16 yards. Look at the Alabama receivers. Who the hell is wide receiver one on that team? I have no clue. Looking defensively, Dallas Turner, 2 sacks. He came to play, man. Alabama's defense is scary. It's very, very scary. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed just recapping some of the biggest games from week 4. It was an amazing week. Still some other games I want to talk about. We'll see if I can crank another one in there. Maybe I'll just make a video talking about some of the teams I'm really looking forward to after this weekend. So thanks for watching, man. If you're still here, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
It's out the motherfucking pack. Right out the niggas don't know how to act.